One day, he just was screaming at me, "You don't know anything about actors." I passed on Thor. I was like, I don't know. I honestly don't know how to do that.
It's a tough one.
And Guardians. First time I met with Kevin and Avi, I was like, okay, great, got the job, I'm so excited. Okay, where's the script? We don't have a script, but the great news is that we have a release date.
Oh God, no.
Prepare your ears, humans. Happy, Sad, Confused begins now.
I'm Josh Horowitz, and this is a happy, sad, confused watch-along. What are we watching today, guys? It's an incredible movie from the dawn of the MCU. It's filled with monsters and angry, shirtless dudes. It's The Incredible Hulk, and we're watching it with Louis Leterrier. Louis, are you ready?
I'm very ready. I haven't watched it for a long time.
How long has it been?
A few years, I must say.
Okay. Are you filled with dread, excitement, worry?
No, I mean excited. I really that's the thing. Like, as a director, you sort of like do them, watch them so many times, just sort of like put them away, and then this is exciting. When you called me, I got very excited.
We're pulling it out of the closet.
Yes,
it's worthy of a second look. There's a lot to talk about, and the opening, there's actually a lot to talk about because this was not originally how you were going to start this film, correct?
Absolutely. The opening was supposed to, and we shot it. It's in a version of the Blu-ray that you can find, right. Where Banner was traveling up north, up to the North Pole, and we shot it in Bella Coola in Canada, and was walking up a glacier and trying to off himself, stripping off all his clothes, and Edward did that. And putting a gun in his mouth, and we focus on the eyes, and the eyes turn green, and then we go into a point of view, and he hulks out. But it's all point of view. We don't see that. He saves him. Basically, Hulk saves Banner.
Got it.
And as he did this, and that's very interesting, he does his first Hulk smash, breaks the glacier, and as he breaks the glacier, you see in one piece of the glacier the shield.
Right, yeah.
You remember that?
So I have to say, that sounds amazing, and you can watch it, but I do love this sequence because for any fans, and we're going to talk about the TV show a lot in this because you obviously have a lot of affection for the TV show.
Absolutely.
There's some shots that are pulled basically right out of
from the show,
the show here.
Absolutely. It's an homage. Yeah, I grew up watching the show. Actually, the show is what made me want to become a filmmaker. I was so invested in the pathos of David Banner in the show, and we just approached Zach Penn and I the screenwriting of this movie that came actually close to the original Hulk directed by Ang Lee, but we didn't want to do a sequel.
Right.
No, didn't want to do a remake. We wanted to make our version of something that felt more human.
This all was intended, or a lot of this was intended, as I understand it, as kind of flashbacks.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah, there were flashbacks, and it was quite a bit of storytelling, and we combined it through in this great opening sequence done by Cal Cooper in Prologue. Cal Cooper did the opening of Seven, and amazing credit company. So we came up with this edit and with all the titles, and then worked on this dream type state of Bruce Banner. We spent 2 days shooting that Bruce Banner doing yoga and doing some exercise and everything, and I got a call from the studio saying, guys, you're doing the Incredible Hulk, not a yoga video, so please get moving.
Had you been up for other superhero comic book properties?
No, never. I grew up in France. I although I studied filmmaking in NYU, I never thought I would direct superhero movies. I was attracted by them, and that's why one day after doing actually 3 movies I'd done before, I did Transporter 1, Unleashed, and Transporter 2. After Transporter 2, I just came to LA and basically did my homework, went and met everyone and told them I here's my resume and I'd love to do this. And I met Avi Arad and Kevin Feige and told them, I know you might want to do some things about with your superheroes. I'm very, very interested. I'm a huge fan, and they had this big poster in the lobby and said, well, pick a superhero that you'd like, and I want this guy, Tony Stark, Iron Man. That's what I want to do.
Like, that's the one I can't give you.
No. They're like, great. Go back home. And literally 3 weeks later, they called me and they said, we've got great news. We'd like you to direct a movie for us. I was like, and they said, Hulk. Hulk, Ang Lee did it really 3 years before
right.
They gave me the call. And thought about it and realized that my favorite movies growing up were Frankenstein, the original King Kong, werewolf movies, and Hulk. And Hulk the TV show being so formative. So I was just like, of course, yes, that's they saw what I couldn't see. They saw that I was the guy that could do this movie. So we came to it was my first Comic-Con ever. They brought me to San Diego and sat me in a whole with like 30 people in the audience. And introduced Jon Favreau, myself, and Edgar Wright.
Right, for Ant-Man,
and we were the three first directors that were supposed to do Iron Man, Hulk, and then Ant-Man. And then we started writing, and I started writing with Zach, and we took a lot of stuff that we liked. We really based it on the Ultimates, Avengers Ultimates. That's a book that I really loved, Bendis Ellis and Mark Millar, and really based it on this, plus the TV show, plus some ideas. And
this has a very distinct aesthetic and tone and feel to it that it feels apart in a good way. I mean, that is a compliment from the MCU films.
Well, we shot it. I wanted to make it a little, dirty, used. Huge fan of Fincher. What he did on Seven, I thought was fantastic and really made this movie
like tactile
and timeless and everything. So we shot on 35, and it was just the beginning of digital, but we shot 35. I used an old Spanavision series, anamorphic series, anamorphic also, so you get the flares. It really looks like, it's really beautiful. The colors is really treated beautifully, and we try to do as much practically as possible. Obviously, the Hulk we couldn't do practically, but everything he moved, a lot of the car stuff, everything that you'll see, we did practically, and that mix was and also shooting on location, really going to the places, traveling the world with all our crew was very, very useful. And I had a great combination of studios, Marvel and Universal, great filmmaker friendly places.
So we should start to get into the casting, because you've got an amazing group here. So Edward is top 2% of actors on the planet. He's amazing what he can bring to a performance. He's also a very smart writer, a director in his own right. Was it a short list? Like, were there other people even considered?
Yeah, it's well known that my original choice was Mark Ruffalo.
Right.
And Marvel, David Maisel at the time, who was running Marvel, said, he's not famous enough at the time.
Right.
And although he was perfectly right, he was not famous enough. And somebody had the idea of Edward, and I said, wow, it's great. Amazing actor, genius. Let's go and meet him. And Galen Hurd and myself, we go to New York and have a lovely meeting with Edward, pitching ideas, the movie, and he hates it. He absolutely hates.
Is he open about it? Like, that's not for me. That's not my thing.
That's like lovely dinner, but no. So Gail and I, we fly back to LA, and the moment we arrive, no Wi-Fi on planes then, we arrive in LA, turn on our phones, and we have 15 messages each, and we pick up, and it's like, Edward's in, he loves it, we made the deal, you have an actor and a producer and a screenwriter.
So that was the caveat.
That
Like
was-
I there's enough here for me to sink my teeth into if you guys give me a little bit of creative control too.
Exactly.
Were you guys kind of in lockstep in the kind of movie you were making?
Oh, very. Edward and I, yeah, absolutely. I think the whole way, everybody was very much in lockstep. It just got, it just got tense at the end. And I think at the end, very much it was tense about the tone and the level of humor. Although Edward is very funny.
Yeah.
All his friends are comedians. Like, he's a extremely funny guy, but he I think was very right in defending the seriousness of the movie. You have to remember, it was the mid 2010s. The Dark Knight had such an impact on superhero movies.
Stanley, we have to mention.
Oh yeah.
Is that a moment? Is that a day on set? That must
was
be
an
amazing.
amazing day on set. That was an incredible day on set.
I like the implications of this. Is Stanley then turned into a Hulk? Is that the sequel we never saw?
That's the sequel. That's the sequel you never saw. But it was always our plan. It was always, Zach and I, that was our plan. Like, that's follow the drop.
Yep.
Have you ever seen this movie, Lord of War? Andrew Niccol,
yes,
Lord of
although
War.
they
So
follow the bullet.
Yeah, they follow bullet. So I wanted to do like, you follow the drop of blood that would turn the banner in, and I wanted to finish with Stanley, because I always thought that Stanley's great when he does his cameos, but they're all a little jokey. But I thought that if it was like the most important part of the movie, my first time directing a big Hollywood movie was very, very important, because there's all these challenges, big budget. It was a bonded movie. This movie was financed by the firemen. Marvel movies were financed in the beginning by the firemen. The fireman insurance was the people. That's the stuff that paid for Iron Man and Hulk.
Wow.
And so we had Bond people on set saying, "Don't go over, don't do this, don't do that." So, no, it was very important. And then you'll see, and I'll show you upon these shots.
Yeah.
Sometimes I was letting him direct himself. I was doing first unit during the day and second unit at night, or vice versa.
Right.
And I was asking him to start the first 5 hours without me as we were overlapping. And there's some really amazing stuff that Tim Roth directed.
Oh, wow.
Edward directed.
Edward, I was going to say.
Both of them. It's like,
everyone's directing. No,
Yeah.
but Edward, again, such a great resource. Why not use him? Was there a much different cut that you all kind of came to blows on?
Not at all. It was very much that opening with the comedic suicide. But obviously, we all knew it's 4 quadrant. We cannot start with that. But I thought it was a very important one. And frankly, it's because of the soundtrack of maybe I don't remember if it was a teaser or the overall soundtrack, where Edward is great friends with Tom York, and he wanted Radiohead to do the music, and that was genius.
Yeah.
But we know what Radiohead sounds like, and I think Marvel was pushing for a little bit more of a typical Hollywood soundtrack, and we thought, and not a compromise, but what we thought was the elegant in between was to find Craig Armstrong, who had worked with Massive Attack, to create this soundtrack, which is haunting. And
it's kind of, I will say, I would love to hear a Tom York soundtrack too of this, but like, it's a kind of romantic, old school kind of movie soundtrack.
I know, completely, with shot, recorded in a church in Seattle. Like, we really went for something that felt, as you said, a little dated. We didn't want to do like beatboxes and sort of like exciting Bourne Supremacy, Bourne Ultimatums, action sounds, like we've done before. I think that's one of the sequences. I think. Oh no, I was there for that. Yeah, I love that. Like that, I think that was his idea. That he shoots the dog.
That will immediately know which side we're on. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Come on.
I was like, okay, let's do it. You don't want to wait for the Hulk and just look at your watch. When is the Hulk coming? You want to love the movie with Bruce Banner and everybody else, and actually fear the moment when the Hulk arrives. So you have this sort of like dichotomy of these two movies that are fighting with each other.
Right.
And the only way to do this was, great script, number one, and frankly, amazing actors.
Cast the hell out of it.
So
yeah.
you cast the hell out of it, and you have amazing actors that actually really, clash together really well on screen and don't like each other, because that's the beauty of seemingly don't like each other. That works really well. You bring the tension. You don't have to have screaming matches on screen. You just sense it with one look. And William Hurt gives you that. He gives you that intensity, and
Was he game? I mean, he was notoriously kind of a very intellectual, serious actor. Was he tough to kind of get on your side to like?
Not get on my side. It was tough to convince that we're not just making,
right,
a paint by the numbers comic book, but just that look at this look. Everything is non-verbal in this movie. Like a lot of it is non-verbal, and so you can only do this with amazing actors. He also didn't want the mustache to act him out, so just the size of the mustache was a discussion. But sometimes he and I clashed, but I think that was his. You have two types of actors, three types of, I guess. You've got your partners, you've got your best friends that you have to cajole all day, and you have the people that like to have these arguments.
Yes, they feed off of that.
They feed off of this.
And from what I gather, that was not unique for you. That was just how he worked.
That's how he worked.
Yeah.
And then one day, he just was screaming at me, "You don't know anything about actors. We have a..." And he was, it's too bad for him. He was in the helicopter, the giant helicopter at the end, and I was in the control. He was like, "You have to find the button to the nuclear power that is the nuclear plant that is in my..." And I took the joystick and I went, and basically he went. I shook him into the thing. He fell and he looked at me. He was like, "I like you," and that was it. He just wanted to have a little bit of a fight,
Yep.
Just a little bit.
Yep. Well, it works. It's the performance works. So
exactly.
However you got there.
So he was actually it was very interesting. It's when they go on top of the thing.
So coming up, it sounds like, in a way, this plays, again, there's a good, whatever, you can look at both sides of it. Like, you would have had the reveal, the green eyes, if you had done the different opening. But I kind of like that, like, we're 20 plus minutes in.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're holding back. And
that's what the idea came from Peter Kramer, who was the exec then, and who's
there
the
we
president.
go. Right out of the. I mean, that's a still from the show.
Yeah, that's exactly this. That's exactly this. And you want to do this with a nice film noir thing. So the beauty of it, also that sequence, is I wanted to shoot it like a horror movie, and it's obviously this. It's what you don't see that's important.
It goes a while before we get a really good look at.
Yeah, and the first person to see him is Emil Blonsky. That's Tim Roth.
Right.
To get a good look at him and a terrified look.
I honestly can't believe something as amazing as Masterclass exists, and that's why I'm so thrilled they are a sponsor of Happy, Sad, Confused. I use Masterclass, and you should too. Let me just give you a sense of some of the classes that I've taken, I've learned from. You guys know I'm obsessed with movies, with movie making, with writing. You can learn about screenwriting from Aaron Sorkin, filmmaking from the likes of Martin Scorsese, Werner Herzog, Spike Lee, Jodie Foster. How about getting some acting tips from, Samuel L. Jackson, Helen Mirren, Natalie Portman? David Lynch is on there teaching creativity. I am constantly amazed at the new masterclasses that are constantly appearing thanks to this wonderful resource, and I'm thrilled they are a Happy, Sad, Confused sponsor. So this fall, learn from the best to become your best with Masterclass. From leadership to negotiating to creativity to cooking, it's all there for you. Whether you're watching Masterclass on a TV, if you're learning in audio mode in the app or on their site, the quality truly speaks for itself. It's like the Masterclass instructors are your own personal mentors. They are there to help you reach the next level. And just think about the cost, guys. How much would it cost to take one-on-one classes with the folks I mentioned? Well, Masterclass starts at $120 a year for unlimited access with all 180 plus instructors. Think about it. And right now, our listeners to Happy, Sad, Confused get an additional 15% off an annual membership at masterclass.com/HSC. That's right. Get 15% off right now at masterclass.com/HSC. Masterclass.com/HSC.
We all are.
Of course. I mean, that'd be weird for you to say.
I mean,
not really.
No, but we all are. We all. Any, person, man, woman, whatever, American, French, Asian person who says they're in their 40s, 50s, saying they're making movies for a different reason than trying to do a Star Wars movie are lying. we all are trying in a way to make a Star Wars movie. Like even like in my last movie in Fast X, I put TIE fighter sounds in it. Just cannot help myself.
So do you have your dream Star Wars idea? Do you have your
Yeah,
concept?
I had it a long time ago when I came to them and pitched Lone Wolf. We should do a Star Wars TV show with conceived as a lone wolf and cub. And they said, we don't know if it's a great idea.
We'll come back to you.
We'll come back to you with this idea.
Did you really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And what kind of characters were it? Was it a Mandalorian? Was it like a?
It was not one. It was two things. I wanted to do the missing part between, basically, before New Hope, where Obi-Wan takes Luke, and then I wanted to do that, but also was very interested in the Boba Fett movie or TV show. Then that's okay. I did.
That's okay.
I did other things.
But that must have been a moment when you saw the announcement. Like, wait.
But when it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's all part of the thing. And frankly, I had this idea because it was like a low-hanging fruit. I think it was like so obvious, and so the characters are so iconic, and so. Didn't go the way I wanted.
You've gotten some pretty amazing shots with some amazing franchises.
Exactly,
I mean, let's be real.
Exactly. Be absolutely right.
So in retrospect, like, do you feel like, I mean, by any standards, the movie did well, except that by these crazy like comic book movie standards, right? And but how much of it is a function of like, it was pretty soon after that Hulk movie. It was very early in the MCU. You kind of had some challenging circumstances in retrospect. Yeah,
but I never did it to be the king of the box office. Yeah. Like I did it because I was in love with the character, and it was my dream to make this kind of a movie. That was, I thought, would be my last movie ever. I put everything in it.
Do you take it as a badge of honor that so many of the supporting characters have now come back around into the MCU, that you cast it well, clearly, because Tim's back. There's word that Liv might be back.
I know, yeah. William Hurt was back for a sec.
Of course,
yeah, exactly. Yes, absolutely. I mean, there wasn't there. Look, that's Lou Ferrigno. That's our cameo. That he played the Hulk in the original one. So, there was a conversation where Edward could come back, and it didn't happen. But yeah, it's just I don't know. Is it did they realize we did it right, afterwards, or does it make sense, or is it fan service? Who knows? But I thought that they were like the right people for this job.
Yeah. Were you surprised how that, from your vantage point, when that all went down? That was a big deal. When
very surprised. Yeah, very surprised, because it was never, there was no tension, and then one day it was done, and I was like, oh, okay, and I loved Edward, and I had to finish the movie, like I could,
Yeah, and I don't want to belabor it, but I remember, because I was kind of doing stuff at MTV at the time. Like, as I recall, like Edward didn't do press really at the time.
No, we did one thing altogether. It's hard. It's funny. It's like, I feel bad because I love him. I loved him.
Martin Starr.
Yeah, Martin Starr. Yeah, everybody was like, yeah. But it's also like, so Martin Starr, friends of Edward. So again, like, it's just to tell you, like he.
Yeah, he was invested. He brought his
he really,
Ty Burrell, I believe.
Ty Burrell,
right?
Absolutely. That he really has great taste, great instincts for comedy. But yeah. It's. I feel bad because I just like, I love him, and I loved working with him.
Yeah.
And I saw him the other day at a park with his kids, and
nice.
I just want to go and be like, hey, it's been 10 years, man.
Has it been that long? You haven't seen him since the end of the film?
I saw him at like in New York at a premiere,
Yeah.
like quickly. He's friends with Woody Harrelson. We did this movie together, Woody and I, and he was there. But I don't know if he thinks I'm like part of the other guy, whatever. I was neutral. I literally was like, let's make the best movie possible. I just don't want to. And I was, even after he was gone, I was asking him what he thought of some ideas, and so I just wanted him to be proud of this movie.
You should be. Well, we're going to bring the gang back together. I'm going to make this reunion happen.
Ah, yes.
Edward, come on in.
When I saw that third mic, I was like, oh,
what's happening? Were you fully invested by the time you wrapped on this, even given kind of the back and forth on the cut and what you wanted to do? Were you were amped to do a sequel? Or
well, no. I mean, it was difficult. The ending was difficult, so it came before. That was actually our plan with Zach Penn and even with Edward, was to cast as well as we could all these bit parts, because we knew how they would evolve. So obviously Red Hulk, obviously the leader. We were talking about the leader, Emil Blonsky. We knew that everybody could. There could be arborescences from created off of the main movie. Never dreamt of doing an MCU, but knew that we could do our own little extension of the of the movie. Just like, I mean, one of my favorite superhero movies is the second Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. It's so good, and so good because Doc Ock is so great. Alfred Molina's performance, and frankly the freedom. The pure Sam Raimi directing that is involved in
when
this.
He's the moment on the table. Pure horror.
Pure horror. That's amazing. We talk about this with Andy Muschietti all the time about that scene, and we're like, we need to make a movie that is just this. It takes place in a hospital when there's a creature, and that's that. And you just have that, no music, no that, just like tentacles grabbing stuff.
Love it. I'm there. Do it.
So that's what I wanted was to make a pure first movie with some seeds planted here and there, and then expand.
But you were giving yourself, like, you weren't locked into one story. You kind of like had different ideas that, like, okay, I've cast this so well that I could go in any direction depending on where the script goes.
Everything is possible. You want to give yourself, deal yourself the best hand possible, and that's what we did. So the Betty Ross movie, the Red Hulk, everything, Joe Fixit. Like, really, we could have had many movies. Like, we were hoping it would work, but it worked in a different way because Hulk is a very important part of the MCU, but it's not exactly the vision.
Were you? I remember there was talk that you were on the short list at the time. Did you ever talk to Feige about Avengers?
No, I talked to Feige about. I passed on Thor. I was like, I don't know. I honestly don't know how to do that.
It's a tough one.
And Guardians. Avengers, yes. I mean, obviously, I told him about Avengers, but I didn't make it to the list, I think. But I met on Guardians, and I met, and he actually asked me if I was interested in Thor. Yeah. So.
And Guardians, had you been a fan of the comic? Did you have a?
No. Well, I mean, when I knew they were doing it, I just went deep into it, and I was just, what? I mean, it's just like, it's crazy they're doing this, and talk about my Star Wars. I was like, I'm definitely not doing a Star Wars, obviously, since my terrible meeting. So
we'll take your idea, but you can go. There's the door. No.
Yeah.
No.
But no, and then but to add this sort of like feeling of
space
opera,
exactly.
and with the Marvel look and a sense of humor would be great. But even this, like, this is really a horror movie. It's Frankenstein, and look at this, and that needle couldn't be longer.
Could not be long.
Give me the longest needle in America. It doesn't exist. Bring it the Russian one.
Attach another needle to the needle.
Exactly.
Yeah. We've got snipers on target in 3 more minutes. I want to know who jumped
this
that gun.
sequence. This is
thanks. Well, that also one of the beauty of this movie. Like, we didn't have a second unit. We had with a splinter unit, but I was directing, as we said, like day and night,
Right.
and so it's truly my vision. Like, you know, no shot was not something that I had thought of design, and
There's
which doesn't mean that
our Super Blonsky.
Super Blonsky done for real. Like
I heard you say that. So he's literally being pulled? Is that
He's
what's
being
happening?
pulled. So he was like running on so we had this rug made out of fake grass pulled by a truck, and he was running on that rug. So you know, just imagine like a, you know, escalator or a, you know, thing, and you just like go 50 miles per hour. Better not fall off the rug. If you roll off, but that was him doing that stuff.
So this is what is this, comics, King Kong, a little both?
That's a bit of both. It's very much, that's exactly shot by shot Grey Hulk, you know, and then definitely inspired by King Kong, sort of like that's.
Yeah, this might as well be Fay Ray and
It's a
and
fair,
Kong.
exactly. Yeah.
I guess, had she done Lord of the Rings by now? So she'd had some experience.
Yeah,
with...
she had no problem. She had like, give me a tennis ball.
I've done this before. I know what to do.
I'll cry.
Is it an orc? Is it a Hulk? Just tell me.
Exactly.
What I got to do.
She was more comfortable. She was like, yeah, just give me tennis balls. No, she was just wonderful to work with. We had a really good time. I don't remember. I think it was like a 13-week shoot, Toronto and Brazil, but it was a really smooth shoot, and
Well, you must have been balancing kind of like, I mean, obviously there's pressure, but like the giddiness of getting to play with this.
Yeah.
Like, it's just knowing what I do about you and your interests. Like, it must have been like, I get to do this with these actors. Like, come on. I think we're coming to the most important scene in the film, Louis. So the floor is about to be yours. 45 minutes, please. Just tell me about the sexual, the sexuality of Bruce Banner.
Okay, so you know, obviously he's deeply in love with Betty Ross, and we wanted to, you know, have these moments where, you know, he would be intimate with her.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about this. We actually talked about shooting a scene where they actually are, you know, making love, and his eyes start to turn green a little bit. She just stop. It's like she sensed it, and she stops him. So we just had innuendos for that. I just thought it would be like, I think movies are fun when you can go with your family and then see different things, and you know, it's just we just wanted to, you know, not take ourselves too seriously about it, but, you know, make it real, like what would two adults do.
Yeah. Were you a DC guy too growing up? Were you into those heroes or not really?
Yeah. Yes, obviously, but I think.
I mean, you can't not be into Batman, I guess.
No, I cannot be into not be into Batman. But I think, like, for example, I mean, it's very, you know, Andy's going to do it, but like, I don't know what I don't know how to do Batman after Chris Nolan has done Batman.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I honestly don't know. You know?
he has to go a different way.
Superman, I actually pitched myself on a couple of.
Oh yeah, I feel like you were on the short list for Man of Steel, weren't you?
Superman origin story, like younger, yeah. But it would have been very different. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You wanted to do like a younger Superman, like a
yes,
or kind of
an origin. I mean, just a high school Superman thing.
Oh, cool.
But played in the 50s. I mean, you know, go back to the Dick Donner thing and just go for it. But there was a great comic book that I loved. I wanted to adapt. It's called Secret Identity or something like this. Okay. It's a Superman thing. Well, I thought it was absolutely great. I mean, ultimately, ask any filmmaker, they've had.
Oh yeah,
they've been called for something. Would you be? Is there an interest if this? You know,
it's just whether we know about them or not.
Exactly.
It's whether we, the press, heard about it.
Yeah.
Happy, Sad, Confused is sponsored by BetterHelp. Well, it's a tricky time of year, guys, because yes, the holidays are fast approaching, and that's a time of year when you're expected to be just thrilled and happy, but there are pressures associated with it. I feel it. I don't know about you. The pressures of getting your work in, enjoying yourself, enjoying your family, and all the complications that come with that. This time of year, the truth is it can be a lot, and it's natural to feel some sadness or even anxiety about it. I feel that way. It's okay to feel that way, and that's why BetterHelp is such an important sponsor for Happy, Sad, Confused. Therapy can be a bright spot amid all of the stress of the season and all the change associated with this season. It's something to look forward to make you feel grounded and to give you the tools to manage everything going on. So if you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, it's convenient, it's flexible, it's suited to your busy schedule. All you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire and you get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. They make it so easy on you guys. Find your bright spot this season with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/HSC today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/HSC. The meditation kind of aspect in the beginning, was that like what did Edward contribute to the script? What was his...
I mean that for example was a very important, he brought it into more of a human level, very much a human level, with less. I think the tone in the beginning, I mean, Zach Penn's movies is like, but the script, it's very, it has a great comic book sensibility with sometimes big leaps and bounds through the story in order to get you to where you need to be. Whereas Edward's script was, and it's a good balance between the two of them, was much slower, much human. Like I think in Edward's movie, like the first time Hulk showed up was like page 45 or something.
Right.
So we come from, we did, page 20. Stuff like that. That's Edward. I mean, that's very much Edward, Practical things, like, what if you were the Hulk and this happened to you, like, he lives in New York. He said, New York taxi rides are terrifying,
Totally. This is your Spider-Man 2.
Yeah,
Doc Ock.
Kind of, yeah, exactly. No,
so this is the American Werewolf.
The American Werewolf. This was my American Werewolf. Yeah. We see these shots. They're like very precisely designed because they were very difficult shots to. Then it was like 10 years ago. No one had done stuff like this.
Wait, there's more. Wait.
Obviously now he's full CG, but before he was like a hybrid. I don't know if he's full CG. It's still Edward though. It's interesting to do this because you always want to do something that's never been done before, but also pay homage, and don't take it to the uncanny valley and just keep it real. But the technology has to you almost have to. So you write the script 2 years before you are going to post the movie. So you have to hope that the technology gets there when you write the script. That's also something to think about, like when you do, that's why avatars never come out when they're supposed to come out, because the technology is not up to snuff when they're supposed to.
Yeah. Well, he's somebody that like can write anything and knows he'll make the camera that can do what he dreams of.
Yeah, but it's me. I work with him and we design cameras together, so I know. But the
really?
camera is 1/100th of the difficulty of Avatar movies. So that's the problem with movies like this. I remember that's one thing also. I remember the first time I met with Kevin and Avi, I was like, okay, great, got the job. I'm so excited. Okay, where's the script? We don't have a script, but the great news is that we have a release date.
Oh God, no. No.
It's a good one.
Is that a good news? I mean, I guess it is.
It's
with a good release
that was
date.
like my intro
in 18 months.
That
you
was
ready?
my intro. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. That was my intro to Hollywood. It was like, okay, and now you get it. It's really about product.
Working within the parameters
well,
you're given.
Yeah, exactly. Like pulling out a product. Now, as a filmmaker, will you fight and defend yourself in order to get the best movie possible? or just give up. I mean, that's you kind of see. We all see the movies that where filmmakers just couldn't fight anymore, and just
This is for the fans. They know what this leads to.
Exactly.
You really want to see a doctor if your head starts to do that. That's worrisome. But yeah, he's happy.
Yeah. This was my again like horror. This was my Cloverfield homage.
Oh sure.
I love Matt Reeves. I love JJ, and there was like a few things that I was like paying homage. I just think that they're what they brought to modern filmmaking. In its their simplicity of their directing, storytelling. So yeah,
it's very visceral. You're kind of in the boots of them.
Exactly. It's just there, and
you're playing a lot with
and it's
perspective.
Like far,
here.
Exactly. Yeah. Play with perspective, and like if I were to do the movie now, I would go even more, practical. Like I would shoot like real helicopters and stuff.
Yeah.
Like we didn't have that Sikorsky. It's a big helicopter. We can get it from the military, but I would push for it because that was all practical. Like this street.
This is downtown Toronto.
That's a Yonge Street. Yeah.
Oh, Yonge Street. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We see like all real. Like all that stuff was real.
That's great.
Hundreds and hundreds of cars. I remember that. Oh yeah. That was we had like a partnership with Hasbro, but they're like, okay, you have to find a way to use the Nerf gun.
Are you kidding me? That's hysterical.
I think I found it.
I think I have an idea.
I have an idea. So again, like I try to ground everything. Like if it didn't make sense, if a design didn't make sense, just like the Hulk. Like if a design didn't make sense, I wouldn't do it.
Tell them to bring everything you got and head for Harlem.
So this is drama. This is romantic drama, sacrifice. This is everything you want.
Take me back there.
What are you saying?
Music. I love also the swell.
This is great.
No, not control it.
Oh, I was going to say, the Hulk going rah like this. That's me. That's me, sort of like mocap the thing. But you can see because also I played the Kraken in Clash of the Titans, and that's the same thing. That's my.
You got your one move.
That's my one move, and I do it to my kids these days. I'm like, it's my Kraken Hulk move, guys.
I get paid millions of dollars to do this. I'm a superhero. I'm a bad guy. What do you want? And you get this for free.
Yeah, and also, so you're. I love that. That was the gloves. That was my, because remember the Hulk gloves? Everybody had the Hulk gloves.
Yeah,
I was like, let's do like some cool new Hulk gloves. And I was like, we should take like cars that you can split in half. And then they didn't go for the toys.
Did you get any Hulk swag out of this at least? Do you still have anything?
I have cool Hulk Nikes, Air Force Ones that I designed.
Well, you and Cameron sounds like you have a working relationship. To be James Cameron.
James Cameron, yeah.
That must
because
be
my
quite
wife is named Cameron, so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you have a relationship too. Hopefully.
I have a Cameron at home. No, we had a great, great few months together.
I mean, that guy, genius. Like.
No, he and I worked on, that's still the movie that I want to do. It's just a new interpretation of Isaac Asimov's Fantastic Voyage.
Right.
But hardcore, good, like a thriller.
Yeah.
Not a joke. And it's a love story. It's amazing. But we invented cameras for it. We worked 7 months together, and then one day he disappeared. And I was like, "Where are you? Where are you?" And he just disappeared. And he was doing the Mariana Trench.
Right. And you haven't heard from him since? What's going on, Louis?
You have lots of fancy friends. If you see him, two things. I want to ask you two things.
Okay.
Since you have your best friend with Tom Cruise, if Doug Liman doesn't do the space movie,
you want to go into space with Tom?
That's I'm a little tall. I'm 6'4", but I'd love to.
They're gonna have to.
I have to.
Make room.
But I'd love to do that. I'd love to.
Is that both things appeal to you? Working with Tom, of course.
Oh, incredible! Yeah.
And you're a space guy.
Yes, and also doing something again, that practical aspect of it, just the idea of like going and shooting the stuff, and I shoot, I operate, I do all the stuff like that. Yeah. And then James Cameron, if you see him, just convince him to
was that script done? Did he what did he write?
Yeah, there were several. No, it was James, it was Shane Salerno, Lida Kalogridis. There was lots of very excellent versions of that script, and always very, a really scary World War III on the outside and a love story on the inside.
That sounds amazing.
It's amazing. Amazing. Where the person woman operated on, and then her lover goes inside, and her husband is the surgeon on the outside. And imagine that, Josh, if you will.
I will do my best to will this into existence.
IMAX.
Make it happen.
High frame rate inside the body.
Oh wait, we have to talk about this.
No, why?
Come on. So you get a chance not only to do one more scene with William Hurt, but Tony Stark himself. That must have been a swell day.
That's the stuff we picked up. So that's the only thing we picked up, and maybe a couple of inserts. But I in my dream of sort of I've been sort of I was badgering them. I was like, Kevin, is there any way I can get Robert? Anyway, again, because obsessed with the Avengers, obsessed with Ultimates, saying is there any way we can sort of do this? And then we worked it out with Paramount, and we're able to do that scene. I thought it would be a wink scene, but that's beginning of the MCU.
Truly. And Downey, amazing just to have even for a few hours to do this.
It's incredible. He comes in, he's such a incredible pro.
Amazing. We did it, Louis. We
Thanks,
revisited
Josh.
this amazing movie. It wasn't painful. It was pleasurable, I hope.
Totally pleasurable. It's great. Actually, it's very, it holds up, yeah.
It holds
a little bit, but
No, you're good. You're good.
Look, you can watch She-Hulk now with a very different Hulk.
A little bit different. Let's stick with the Louis. Congratulations, man. Thank you for indulging this trip down memory lane. Incredible Hulk with Louis Leterrier. What a treat.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, man. If you enjoyed this watch along with Louis Leterrier, I've got great news for you. Go to our Patreon page, patreon.com/happysadconfused, and you can watch the entire film alongside me and Louis right now.
And so ends another edition of Happy, Sad, Confused. Remember to review, rate, and subscribe to this show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm a big podcast person. I'm Daisy Ridley, and I definitely wasn't pressured to do this by Josh.